And so this morning we are talking about the Washington, get to the right screen, the Washington Water Assistance Program. And we've got Brian Saracen, who's the manager for both the LIHEAP and for the WWA. I don't know how you pronounce that acronym. Maybe you can help us out with that question first, Brian. I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. So, yes, hello, my name is Brian Saracen. I'm going to share my screen and begin the slideshow from the beginning. And yes, my name is Brian Saracen. I am the LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program Manager. And the federal name for the program is LIWAP, the Low Income Home Water Assistance Program. And in Washington State, we have a LIWAP program. It's the Low Income Home Weatherization Assistance Program. So we titled the program Washington Water Assistance. And because I think I'm funny from time to time, we don't use the acronym in public, but it does come out WAWA, W-A-W-A. And that is simply because I think I'm funny. Other than that, we refer to it as the Washington Water Assistance Program. And it does reside within the Department of Commerce. And we have many services in the Department of Commerce. We have homeless and housing services, infrastructure, business assistance, our energy policy group, the planning and community facilities, crime victims advocacy and safety, and of course, community services, which is where LIHEAP and LIWAP reside, along with Work First, Community Services Block Grant, the Housing Finance Unit. We are under CSHD, Community Services and Housing Division. So Congress authorized this program, the Low Income Washington Water Assistance Program, through two acts. The first one was the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021, which authorized $638 million nationwide, and the American Rescue Plan of 2021, which authorized an additional $500 million nationwide. It is for a temporary assistance safety net. We had three options in the plan to do arrearages, past due balances, and then develop a benefit matrix, which would put credits on customers' accounts. And we opted to go for strictly arrearages and past due balances, whatever we could do to bring an account to zero. Through reviewing the data of arrearages and past due balances, we came up with a maximum benefit of $2,500. That includes sewer and drinking water, so a combination of the two. Whatever that amount is to bring the account to zero. So if they owe $700, we would pay $700, get them to zero, and then they're done. If they owed $2,700, we would pay $25, and hopefully they would be put on a payment plan for the additional $200. And of course, households are eligible. This follows LIHEAP very, very closely, as was expressed in the law. And so households that have incomes at or below 150%. We developed a program so that it looks incredibly similar to LIHEAP. And what that means is simply, if you're eligible for LIHEAP, you're eligible for water, and vice versa. Customers will go to one agency, one community action agency that serves their area, complete one application, and will be eligible for both programs. This is a list of, it's a regional map, shows which community action agencies serve which areas. And the regions are for us, we break them up into 4 regions for monitoring purposes. But as you can see, Opportunity and Industrialization Center serves Grant and Adams. We have Rural Resources that does Ponderay and Lincoln, and then Spokane. So that list is there. We've also included, and I will get a copy of this presentation out so that you will have these. These are the coordinators at the agencies along with their email addresses for people who want to get in contact with them. The tricky part is that when we come to King County, we have 3 agencies. We have Multi-Service Center, which does mostly South King County and some of the east side. We have North and East King County residents at HelpLink, and then residents of the city of Seattle served by Bird Bar Place. And these are the zip codes that they serve, along with a little bit of guidance south of Roxbury, which means nothing to me because I don't live in Seattle. And then, of course, north of Northeast 145th. For those that live in Seattle, my assumption is that people will know what those mean. So where we are in the process is we have received approval of our state plan 9/15. The federal funder released the direct service funding on October 1st. Applications are open because we're taking LIHEAP applications. What this means is that anybody who's eligible for LIHEAP will be able to get water as soon as the contracts go out. We completed our allocation model and we are in our internal review process. Our final meeting is on Thursday of this week, very early in the morning, and we plan to have the contracts out to the community action agencies by Thursday afternoon. All of the prep work is being done by my team and myself the remainder of this week. And in case you were wondering, 150% of the federal poverty level looks like this, as far as monthly and annual incomes up to a family of 10. And I will move on. So once again, just by the numbers, Consolidated Appropriations Act, American Recovery Plan, total allocation is 19.9 million. We built the allocation model for number of households at or below 150% of the federal poverty level by county, then the number of water connections and the number of sewer connections in that county, and then evenly weighted those three categories for what our distribution model will look like to counties. We did, in case anybody's interested, make some changes to LIHEAP for this year, which is the energy assistance side, that we have a hardship benefit of $500. We built in an arrearage benefit for utilities that are not overseen by the UTC, some of the smaller co-ops, mutuals, and municipalities who run their own, who don't have the funds to do an arrearage program of their own. So we have added that into the LIHEAP program. We also provide shelter assistance on a limited basis, and it used to sit at $1,000. We did a review of the rental costs in Washington State, and we increased that to $1,500. And we also increased our repairs for heating systems for replacements up to $7,500. And then probably one of the newest is we've added the ability to purchase air conditioners. And that's not just for homeowners. We can also do that for renters as long as they are portable and can be taken with them. And I include the slide for LIHEAP just to show how much money we're really working with. 19 million is really bad to say that it's not a lot of money, because it is $19 million to the state. But these are the funds that we work with on the energy assistance side, which I'm really hoping that future legislation will find at least close to parity for water and sewer moving forward. So our 20 allocation was 47 million. We received a federal CARES Act at 14 million. We also received a state CARES Act for 23 million. Our 2021 allocation was 47 million. And we also received the federal American Recovery Plan at 65 million. And as you can see, we've spent out a majority of all of this money already in the last year and a half. So when we say 19 million, I do believe that it will be gone by the end of this program year, which will end September 30th of 2022. And then these are some resources. We have a Commerce Water Assistance page. Please forgive me, the page is a little stark right now. It needs to be jazzed up a little bit, and we plan on getting some additional information on there. Commerce also has a utility assistance page that has brochures in different languages, and also utility assistance outside of LIHEAP and water assistance. And then the Department of Health has this wonderful site that has resources for door hangers in multiple languages, which I am sure many people are familiar with, but I wanted to include it in the presentation as well. And then, thank you. So I am open for questions at this point. if anybody would like to ask.
So, Brian, and
Yes.
we'd love questions in the chat. But so if I'm a water or sewer provider
Mhm.
and I need to get this available for my customers, what do I need to do?
Contact one of the community action agencies or contact the community action agency that serves your service territory. I'll be totally honest. Most of our agencies have reached out to the larger utilities that are in their service area. But the smaller ones are the ones that I am truly concerned about, just because there are so many. I'll be totally honest, I had no idea that there were well over 2,000 water districts in Washington. I was shocked when I found out that one county had 16 electric utilities in it. So that many water and that many sewer providers have added an additional step to the process. But contact the community action agencies. They have they have an outline that we provided for a vendor agreement, and all you have to do is sign the vendor agreement and a W-9 so that they can pay you. All payments must be made to utilities. We are not doing direct payments. I'm so sorry about my dog behind me. We do not do direct payments to clients. All funds must be sent to utilities, specifically for customer accounts. And so that was just part of the legislation.
So a water utility who has some identified accounts that are in arrearage, those utility users, what steps do they need to take? Because the utilities may need to give guidance or direction to their utility customers.
Yes. And that would be sending them to their community action agency. So when the laws were put out, they were about a paragraph each. I mean, we're talking maybe this much language. And I really mean that much language. Is it must be modeled after LIHEAP. Utility payments must go to the utilities on behalf of the customers. And that was about it. So we designed it to look exactly like LIHEAP. So our LIHEAP customers that come in will be asked for their sewer bills and their water bills if they're past due. And then the community action agencies, I'm sorry, he's really bothering me right now. What's out. And then the community action agencies have been instructed to contact the water utilities and the sewer utilities to get the vendor agreements in place. So we provided them with a list not a list. We provided them with a link on where they could go to find their utilities. And we have been sharing with the Department of Health, Drinking Water, to get the community action agencies out there, and with the UTC, especially part of this presentation. So it has the contact information. We only have 26 community action agencies, so it would be much simpler if you could just contact one of them and say, I'm a utility, I provide water, I provide sewer, I provide both, and I'd like to set up a vendor agreement. Can you send me a copy? And they would do that in a heartbeat. And if they don't, call me. I'll get them sorted out for you.
Brian, this is Kathy. We didn't plan this, but I was thinking it might be helpful if I shared the screen to show the Department of Health Customer Assistance Program page.
Let me see if I can bring that up real quick.
Or yeah, if you want to do that, or I could.
Yep, there it is.
But there you go. Great.
So yes, they have the water customer shutoff complaint form, but really, so these are the ones that I really like. Have past due bills, learn about how to apply for Washington water assistance. And what this one should do will take you to our page. And so this is what the low income, and when I say that it's kind of plain, it really is. But what it does is, if you live in, somebody want to give me, we'll just say Yakima. And if you click on Yakima, you can either go to the South Yakima or OCI, which does Yakima in the North Yakima County. And it has their contact information right here. And we can just pop into theirs. And that link will take us here and find your healthcare clinic. And then of course, services. Not that anybody wants to do this many clicks, but we're all here under programs, and their pages have many more services available to them as we go through programs and classes, WIC programs, chronic disease self-management. And so I don't need to go through all those for you, but that is our webpage, and I will take us back to water. There you go. So water systems have customers with arrearages, report shutoffs, track delinquencies, articles and webinars. And so this is all on the Department of Health page in the Office of Drinking Water.
Brian, I wanted to point out, I've been helping a small water system that is preparing to send out letters to its delinquent customers.
Okay.
And one of the things that they found really helpful on that website, if you go down to have customers with arrearages, there's a sample customer letter and a sample payment plan. And that was really nice that they did not have to create the wheel on that.
Absolutely.
You customize it for your own purposes.
Very nice. Yes, that's why I included it. I was very impressed with what they had gotten set up. And then Fern will, monitors this very closely and can answer any questions. They also have door hanger templates, rack cards, bill stuffer templates, and of course the sample payment plan as well.
And so just to clarify, this is something I was talking about with this board, that their customers that have delinquent accounts or arrearages, they first would want to recommend that they go to the Community Action Agency and ask if that can be paid through the Washington Water Assistance Program. But as you mentioned, there's a pretty, the income limits are pretty low. So not everybody who's delinquent might not be eligible for your program. And so if that's the case, if they're not eligible, then they can use these sample letters and sample payment plans to set up an installment payment plan with their customers that are behind on their payments. So there's kind of two things going here. There's, of course, they would want to first try your program that could pay off the debt. If they're not eligible for that, then this Department of Health website can be very helpful to get something set up for an installment payment plan.
Yes. That was not the one I was looking for. I'm so sorry.
And one of the questions that came up for us, and I don't know if you have an answer to this, does a utility need to allow up to 18 months for the installment payment plan, or could that happen? Could they require that it be paid, the debt be paid off within 12 months?
I personally say 12 months. That's what we included on. I don't have any regulations as far as the law goes. I just have guidance, and they would like to see payment plans for up to 12 months. And I believe the governor's letter said 18 months. And total honesty here is that if you accept payment from us, you have to maintain water service for 30 days. So we would like to see payment plans put in place, especially if we're paying $2,500 to get that account as close to zero as possible. We would like to see service stay in place for 30 days and use that 30 days to get them on a payment plan. That is really what I want to see, because I believe in giving people assistance, but they also have to be responsible in if the assistance is not enough to cover, to establish that payment plan and that relationship with their utility as well.
Interested of the people watching the session, how many of you have set up a vendor agreement with your local community action agency? You could just enter that in the chat. Has anyone?
We've had questions about adjustments to and sent through. So I know that Clark and Seattle are working on it. Clark County, Seattle Public Utilities, Tacoma Public Utilities,
Looks like
and
Douglas
Pierce
County Sewer has.
Yep. So they're coming in. It's a very interesting timeline. We knew that this was coming back in March, and my team, which consisted of me because we were still running LIHEAP and all the CARES dollars for that, began the process of looking into this and developing a plan before we even really had guidance based on the law. And then we got the plan, I believe, in June, July, and we submitted it shortly after that. And then we received approval sometime in September, and very late September. And we had hoped to open this in September, and then we hoped to open it October 1st. And they didn't release the funds. And I don't know, when you get a federal award letter saying we're going to give you this money, but you have 0% to spend, you can't contract out $0 without having to amend all the contracts that you just sent to raise the spending cap. So we were just waiting for them to issue that guidance and give us a letter that says we could spend. Well, that came in October 1st. And so we completely finished the allocation models and the contracts, and they're being filled in. And then we have our internal process, which will conclude on Thursday. And then we will send those out. But we had asked the LIHEAP agencies to take applications, of course, and people that were interested in water, they just set aside. Our data system is designed that if they've applied and received LIHEAP, all they have to do is go in and push a button, and it's actually a faucet. It's really cute. They push that faucet and all of the data transfers, and then they will be able to enter in account numbers for water and for sewer, and then generate the payment list from there. So we made it as easy and the least administrative burden as possible to ensure that these payments can go out quickly and the data entry can be done. So we think we did a good job on the building up to. It's the getting it released and that has created a little bit more drama for us.
And Brian, just to clarify that only, so your customers will not be able to access that money. Your qualifying customers won't be able to access that money at the Community Action Agency until you, the utility, has set up a vendor agreement with the Community Action Agency.
That is correct. But the Community Action Agencies have also been instructed that if they're receiving these and they don't have agreements in place, that they need to be reaching out to you as well. Trying to hit this from both sides to make sure that we're getting the money to as many people as possible until it runs out.
And is that a real complicated thing? Is that a one-pager, the vendor agreement? Is it just
it's
something
a two-pager?
Okay, it's a template, and they're sending it out, and you just need to sign it and give it back.
Pretty much. Review it, see what you like on it, see what you don't. It outlines specifically what our agencies have to do, and then the responsibilities of the utilities, which really is keep the data confidential, apply the credit to the bill so that it shows to the customer that the credit has been applied, and to not treat them adversely because they received assistance from us. Other than that, it's pretty much boilerplate after that.
All right. Do we have any other questions? This was a pretty quick one, but I would encourage you to check out not only the Department of Commerce website that Brian showed you, but also that great Department of Health website, which has a lot of templates, has, you know, if your customers are asking about, well, I thought I didn't have to pay during this time. You mean I'm still on the hook for that? There's information that you can share with your customers regarding what the moratorium was and what that required. So here, let me just. So let's put that into the chat again real quick here. Copy. There. there you go. You guys can check it out for yourself. And Dave, you're sharing your screen. Okay. Oh, for our game code. Here's our game code.
In case you didn't see it in the chat.
All right. Well, any other final words there, Brian?
I just thank you for your interest and thank you for participating in this webinar. The more information we can get out and the sooner that we can get customers assisted and get the arrearages down to 0, if at all possible, that's exactly where we want to be. So thank you all for joining. And please reach out if you have questions.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. And I'm going to stop recording.